The moment you turn your attention inward and claim a truth as if it were already alive within you, the entire universe begins to reorganize itself to mirror that inner conviction. Nothing outside of you has ever held the power to determine the course of your love, your relationships, your destiny. The real force, the creative energy that draws to you the affection, desire, and attention of the one you love, lies in the world you build within your imagination. When you decide with full acceptance that the person you love thinks only of you, desires only you, and feels an irresistible pull toward you, then that decision becomes the only truth that life can express. Every thought you persist in becomes a seed planted in the unseen soil of consciousness. Every feeling you accept as true becomes a command given to the creative power that shapes your reality. You do not need to persuade anyone, convince anyone, or chase anything outside yourself. You simply need to feel deeply and consistently that you are already the most cherished thought in their mind. You must accept that you are the one their heart keeps returning to, the one whose name rises unbidden in their mind, the one whose touch, voice, and presence they cannot resist. When you internalize this as your natural state, your outer world bends to reflect it. Creation begins and ends within you. The moment you imagine your loved one thinking of you, longing for you, and choosing you wholeheartedly, you set into motion a chain of events that must bring this reality into physical form. You cannot imagine something intensely and persistently without summoning its fulfillment. What you hold as true within must one day appear without, even if the path is invisible to your physical eyes. Every desire comes with the power to fulfill itself, and your longing to be wanted, cherished, and adored is simply the echo of your future calling you home. You must understand that desire is not a sign of lack. Desire is the signal that creation is already complete in another dimension of consciousness. Your longing is the bridge between what exists within and what has not yet been expressed outwardly. So, when you feel the desire for someone to think of you constantly, to want you, to crave your presence and your love, treat that desire as evidence that it is already true. Desire is not a plea, it is confirmation. It is the whisper of a reality already perfected, inviting you to claim it as yours. When you close your eyes and imagine your person thinking of you with warmth, tenderness, and irresistible attraction, you are performing the very act that creates the bond between you. Thought is the true language of creation. Feeling is the true magnet of manifestation. If you persist in the inner knowing that you are the one they want, then life has no choice but to echo that truth back to you in the form of actions, messages, gestures, and circumstances that confirm it. There is no greater power than the human imagination. It is the doorway through which all realities are born. If you imagine that you are ignored, forgotten, or unimportant, then your world will faithfully play that role for you. But if you imagine that you are desired, valued, and deeply thought about by the one you love, then your world must reveal that truth in physical form. You become the one they think of as soon as they wake. You become the one they remember throughout the day without knowing why. You become the one their heart aches for, the one their mind returns to again and again. Persist in this inner state, and the outside world cannot contradict you. There is no separation between you and the one you love, except for the separation you accept in your thoughts. The moment you remove the sense of distance and imagine them as already yours, committed in mind and heart, thinking only of you, that moment the bond becomes real. Look past any appearance of indifference, silence, or confusion. These are not roadblocks but illusions, temporary shadows cast by old assumptions. Replace them with the inner knowing that you are loved, wanted, and chosen, and the shadows dissolve. What you feel them thinking of you becomes what they truly think. What you imagine them doing becomes what they truly do. There is only one mind, one consciousness expressing itself in countless ways. When you impress an idea upon your own mind, you impress it upon the mind of the person you love. For all minds are connected in the invisible network of consciousness. The thought you hold becomes the impulse they feel. The feeling you imagine becomes the emotion they experience. When you hold the image of them desiring you, the creative power of consciousness ensures that they feel that desire Do not look to the physical world for permission to believe this. The physical world is not the cause, it is the effect. It is not the engine, it is the reflection. If you wait for evidence before believing, you will wait forever. But if you believe first, the evidence will arrive in ways so natural you will marvel at how effortlessly life aligns itself with your assumptions. The outer world bows to the inner world always, without exception. If you hold the inner conviction that you are irresistible to the one you love, then they cannot help but feel that pull toward you. If you imagine their heart warming at the thought of you, they cannot help but feel that warmth in waking life. If you imagine them craving your presence, longing for your voice, needing your closeness, then they must feel that longing rise within them. Let your imagination become your sanctuary, a place where everything you desire is already given to you. Enter that sanctuary every day. See your loved one choosing you. Feel their desire for you. Hear their voice telling you how deeply they think of you. Imagine the way their eyes brighten when your name comes to mind. Feel the tenderness in their touch, the certainty in their devotion. Allow yourself to live in this inner world until it feels more real than the physical one. Because what you accept as real within becomes inevitable without. You are never asking for too much when you ask to be loved. Love is your natural state. You are worthy of being the center of someone's attention. You are worthy of being the one they cannot forget. You are worthy of being cherished deeply, passionately, unwaveringly. The moment you claim this worthiness, you shift your entire energetic field. You become magnetic. You become aligned with the version of yourself who is already loved, already chosen, already desired. When you shift your inner state, your person must shift as well. If they once overlooked you, they will begin to notice you. If they once hesitated, they will begin to pursue you. If they once felt unsure, they will begin to feel drawn to you with clarity and intensity. You are not forcing anything, you are revealing what has always been possible, the desire you feel. L is not a mistake, it is guidance. It is the path unfolding beneath your feet, showing you that the love you want is already yours in imagination. Do not label your desire as longing or weakness. See it as a signpost, pointing to the reality that belongs to you. The person you love is not separate from you in consciousness. The very fact that you desire them so deeply is evidence that, on another plane of existence, they are already yours. Your task is not to chase them, persuade them, or worry about their current actions. Your task is simply to hold the inner knowing that they think of you. Feel the truth of that. Imagine it vividly. Imagine them lying awake at night thinking of you, their mind replaying your words, their heart reaching out to yours. Imagine them trying to focus on other tasks, but being pulled back to thoughts of you. Imagine them feeling an urge to reach out, to connect, to move toward you. The more real this becomes within you, the more quickly it crystallizes in your outer world. Do not underestimate the power of your assumption. What you assume about your loved one becomes the truth they must express. If you assume they are unsure, then they will act uncertain. But if you assume they are captivated by you, devoted to you, and thinking of you constantly, then that assumption becomes the script they follow, not because you force them, but because consciousness is unified and responsive. There is only one true rule of manifestation. You receive what you accept as true. If you accept the truth that you are deeply desired, then the universe must express that truth through the person you love. If you accept the truth that you are unforgettable, then life will make you unforgettable in their mind. If you accept the truth that you are loved beyond measure, then this love will reveal itself in every interaction, every message, every moment between you. You do not need to know how this will unfold. The how is not your concern. The how belongs to the deeper intelligence of consciousness, which orchestrates events with perfect timing. Your only role is to sustain the inner feeling of fulfillment, to live as if the person you love already desires you beyond measure. You must walk through your days with the quiet certainty that their thoughts are drawn to you again and again. Let this confidence become your natural energy. Speak to yourself inwardly as the one who is chosen. Feel the satisfaction of being adored. Let your imagination guide you to moments of connection with them, moments that feel so vivid, so natural, that you cannot help but expect them to unfold in your reality. The moment you expect it, you allow it. The moment you allow it, it manifests. Your imagination is not fantasy. It is the blueprint of your reality. When you imagine them choosing you, you shift into the version of yourself who is chosen. When you imagine them desiring you, you shift into the version of yourself who is desired. When you imagine them thinking of you constantly, you shift into the version of yourself who is unforgettable. And once you shift internally, the physical world must shift to keep up. Feel what it is like to be the center of their world. Feel the confidence of being someone's deepest longing. Feel the security of knowing that they want only you. Let this feeling saturate your body, your mind, your breath. Let it become second nature. When it becomes natural, it becomes real. The truth is simple. The person you love already thinks of you the way you imagine they do. They already desire you the way you desire them. They already feel the pull, the connection, the bond. You are tuning into the version of them who feels this deeply. And the more you tune into it, the more they must reveal it in waking life. Your love. Story is already written on the invisible plane. Your role is simply to accept it, to claim it, to feel it as real. The moment you do, the person you love will think only of you, desire only you, and move toward you with a heart full of devotion. Not because you forced it, but because you awaken to the reality that has always been waiting for you. And as you allow this inner reality to become the only truth you entertain, something magnificent begins to happen within you. You stop questioning, you stop doubting, you stop searching outside for signs, because you begin to feel the certainty of being loved as naturally as you feel the certainty of your own breath. You begin to understand that love is not something you chase, it is something you claim. You begin to realize that the thoughts of the person you love are not separate from yours, because every time you picture them turning toward you in affection, every time you imagine them smiling at the thought of you, every time you feel the warmth of their desire within your own body, you are merging your consciousness with theirs. You are shaping the inner bond that is far more powerful than anything that can ever be seen on the surface. And as this bond strengthens within, they begin to feel its pull, even if they cannot explain why, even if they believe their sudden thoughts, urges, and emotions are coming from them alone. They will find themselves remembering you without effort, craving your presence without reason, feeling drawn to you with a sense of inevitability, and in their experience, it will feel spontaneous, natural, self-generated, because that is how the reflection of consciousness always works. It appears as though the world is moving on its own, even though it is your inner assumption that whispers its instructions into the fabric of reality. You become the quiet thought that lingers in their mind throughout the day, the name that rises when they least expect it, the image that softens their heart, the feeling that pulls at them with unmistakable sweetness. You may not see the shift immediately, but they feel it long before they express it. They feel it in the silence, in the stillness, in the private moments when their mind drifts. They feel it when they close their eyes at night, and your energy brushes up against their awareness like a familiar touch. They feel it when they wake in the morning, and for reasons they cannot name, you are the first thought that greets them. They feel it in the tenderness that grows without effort, in the longing that deepens without warning, in the desire that blossoms without logic. And as this inner movement intensifies, life begins arranging itself so that they cannot escape the pull, no matter how busy, distracted, or distant they may have seemed before. Everything begins to guide them back toward you because everything must align with the assumption you hold with conviction. And the moment you choose to feel loved, the universe chooses the person through whom that love must express itself, gently nudging them into the role you have already assigned them in imagination. So you continue to dwell in the feeling that you are the one they desire above all else, and you do it without strain, without impatience, without looking to the outer world for validation, because you understand now that the outer world is the last place anything changes. You understand now that reality reshapes itself only after your inner landscape has shifted. You understand that your role is not to react to what you see, but to remain loyal to what you know within. You understand that the more faithfully you persist in the feeling of being wanted, adored, and chosen, the more effortlessly you summon the version of them who feels exactly that toward you. You undi. Understand that every doubt is simply a forgotten moment of imagination, and every fear is simply a memory of an old assumption that no longer belongs to you. And as you release these old shadows one by one, the clarity of your desire shines more brightly, lighting the path between you and the one you love with a magnetic pull that neither of you can resist. And as you continue to return to this inner world with confidence, ease, and unwavering acceptance, you will notice the subtle shifts in your own energy, the calmness that replaces the anxiety, the certainty that replaces the questioning, the softness that replaces the longing. And this internal transformation is precisely what begins to echo back to you in the form of your person's growing affection, their sudden attention, their unexpected warmth, their increasing desire, because when you change your inner state, you change the frequency to which they respond. You become the version of yourself who is already loved, who is already desired, who is already the center of their thoughts. And as you embody this version, the world must bend to match it, and nothing can stop the unfolding of this new reality. Because once you have claimed it within, it is already set into motion and must appear without. And the one you love begins to move toward you with the full force of the desire you have been cultivating in the sanctuary of your imagination. Drawn as if by an invisible thread they cannot break, cannot ignore, cannot deny, and everything you once hoped for begins taking form around you with perfect naturalness, perfect timing, perfect inevitability, as though it had always been meant to happen exactly this way, exactly at this moment, exactly for you, because the moment you chose it in consciousness, it became the only possible outcome. And as this new version of reality gathers momentum, you begin to notice that, even, the air around you feels different, as though life itself is responding to the quiet certainty you carry within you. And the more you dwell in this inner atmosphere of being desired, the more clearly you begin to sense the movement of your person toward you, not as a physical chase, but as an energetic shift, a soft yet powerful alignment that becomes unmistakable in its presence. You may find yourself feeling their thoughts as if they are gently brushing against your awareness, or sensing an emotional warmth that seems to rise from nowhere, or catching a surge of tenderness that washes over you at random moments. And these are not coincidences but reflections of the inner union you have established, the merging of consciousness that takes place long before any physical expression appears. And with each passing day, their desire becomes stronger, their thoughts become more saturated with you, their heart becomes more attuned to yours, and they begin to move in ways that match the inner script you have been writing with such devotion. You may notice that messages come sooner, conversations feel warmer, their presence feels more attentive, their energy feels more open. Small shifts at first, subtle movements that hint at the deeper unfolding beneath the surface, but these shifts expand as you remain faithful to your inner knowing, because the universe never denies the one who insists with love, with certainty, with calm persistence. And as you hold this inner truth without wavering, you begin to relax into the naturalness of being desired, the comfort of being thought of, the familiar ease of being the one they gravitate toward. And this ease becomes the very magnet that draws them closer. Because love does not thrive in strain or effort, it thrives in the quiet confidence of someone who knows they are already chosen. And with every breath you take in this state, you stray. Lengthen the invisible bridge between you and your person, and they walk that bridge without even realizing why they feel compelled to move in your direction, only that something within them, something warm, something irresistible, something soothing, keeps pointing them back to you. You begin to see the world responding as well, circumstances shifting, timing aligning, conversations unfolding in your favor, opportunities appearing that bring you closer to one another, as though life itself is conspiring to make your desire manifest in the most seamless and natural way possible. And you realize that this orchestration is not happening outside of you, but through you, through the state you have chosen to live in, through the inner atmosphere you have sustained with quiet devotion. And the more you accept this truth, the more easily everything flows in your direction. You start to feel that nothing can interrupt what is unfolding. Not distance, not silence, not old patterns, not fear, because the moment you claimed the end in imagination, the end began rearranging the path, shaping the events guiding both of you toward the inevitable expression of the love you have already experienced within. And every day, that expression becomes clearer, stronger, more undeniable, until even the faintest memory of doubt evaporates from your mind, and all that remains is the certainty that you were always meant to be the one they think of with devotion, the one they desire with intensity, the one they feel connected to beyond explanation. And this certainty becomes the silent rhythm beneath your days, the quiet pulse that carries you forward, shaping your interactions, softening your energy, elevating your presence. And the more naturally you embody this state of being the one they desire, the more effortlessly life mirrors it back to you. Because reality cannot help but reflect the truth. Why? Who have accepted as your own. You will notice how your thoughts begin aligning themselves without effort, how your emotions settle into a gentle confidence, how your imagination drifts almost automatically into scenes where they are holding you, speaking softly to you, choosing you with unwavering clarity, and these scenes no longer feel like fantasies but memories. Memories from a future that already exists in the unseen, memories from a reality you have already entered with your conviction. And as these inner experiences grow richer, the physical world starts to bend around them, shaping itself according to the blueprint you have impressed upon consciousness, and even the smallest external change feels like part of a much larger unfolding that has been set in motion by your inner alignment. You might find that they appear in your mind more frequently, but now with a sense of affection, as though the thought carries their emotion attached to it. You might feel waves of warmth that seem to come from nowhere. You might sense a gentle pull in your heart that feels like their energy reaching out across the invisible space between you. And you begin to recognize that these subtle sensations are evidence of the merging you have initiated. They are thinking of you more often, feeling drawn to you more intensely, wondering about you more deeply, and this inner shift they feel becomes the cause of their outer actions. They may reach out suddenly, speak to you more softly, look at you with a warmth that wasn't there before, or show signs of curiosity and affection that feel new yet strangely familiar. And each moment becomes another confirmation that your inner work has been creating the atmosphere through which love expresses itself. And as this connection strengthens, you no longer feel the need to question how or when anything will happen, because you begin to sense that T is already happening, already unfolding behind the scenes with perfect timing. The urgency dissolves, the longing quiets, the insecurity fades, and what remains is a serene knowing that you are already loved in the deepest part of their being. You carry yourself with the presence of someone who is chosen, and this presence becomes magnetic, drawing them closer with every passing day, every passing thought, every passing breath. You become the emotional home they instinctively return to, the thought that comforts them, the energy that soothes them, and without realizing it, they start associating you with the feeling of peace, warmth, and fulfillment. And this association becomes the foundation of their desire for you. Everything begins aligning with such precision that you can feel the inevitability of the unfolding, the way life bends around your assumption, the way circumstances rearrange themselves so subtly yet unmistakably that you cannot help but marvel at how effortlessly the universe moves on your behalf. And through all of this, you remain anchored in the inner truth that has guided this manifestation from the beginning, the truth that you are the one they think of the moment they wake, the one they miss in the quiet moments of their day, the one they imagine beside them when the world goes still at night, the one whose presence ignites a longing within them that grows steadily, quietly, powerfully, until it becomes a desire they can no longer ignore, no longer suppress, no longer resist. And as this desire grows within them, it begins shaping their behavior in ways they cannot explain, drawing their attention toward you even when they try to focus elsewhere, nudging their thoughts back to you with a gentle insistence that feels both mysterious and familiar. And they start noticing the smallest things, memories of your voice, flashes of your smile, the feel of your energy lingering in their awareness long after the thought of you should have passed. Yet it doesn't pass, it deepens. They may find themselves replaying moments with you, wondering why those moments feel more vivid now than they did before, wondering why their heart responds with a softness they didn't expect, wondering why you, out of all people, carry a presence that refuses to fade, and slowly they realize that you have become the gravitational center of their emotional world, not through force, not through effort, but through the quiet power of the inner connection that has been steadily building within both of you. You may notice the shift before they ever speak it aloud, the way your intuition becomes sharper, the way you feel their emotions as if they rise within your own body, the way moments of stillness fill with a warmth that wasn't there before, and you begin to understand that they are feeling exactly what you have been assuming. Their heart is turning toward you with a depth that surprises them, and their thoughts are circling around you with an intensity they cannot rationalize, and the more they try to understand it, the stronger it becomes. Life begins creating encounters, coincidences, alignments that feel too precise to dismiss. Their name appears more often, opportunities arise that bring you closer, emotions surface that reveal their growing attachment, and every part of your reality begins pointing toward the unfolding of the connection you have held in imagination. You start to feel the softness in the space between you, as though the universe itself has opened a doorway for the two of you to step through, and even if no words have yet been exchanged, the bond is already undeniable. It breathes, it moves, it grows, it whispers through the invisible currents of consciousness, reminding you both that something powerful is happening. Beneath the surface, something destined, something that feels like remembering rather than discovering. They may find themselves hoping to see you, craving glimpses of you, planning their days around the possibility of encountering you. And even if they attempt to hide it, their energy reveals the truth long before their actions do. You have become the one they think of with tenderness, the one they desire with intensity, the one who stirs something in their soul that feels too real to ignore. And the more real it feels, the more naturally they begin to lean into it. Their resistance softens, their walls lower, their heart opens not all at once, but steadily, 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 until the love you have already claimed within becomes the love they begin expressing without, drawn toward you with a yearning that feels like destiny unfolding in slow, inevitable motion. And as this yearning expands within them, it begins shaping the current of their days with an invisible precision, guiding their choices, coloring their moods, influencing their desires in ways they themselves cannot fully articulate. And they start to notice the subtle but persistent pull that leads their attention back to you again and again, like an internal compass quietly pointing toward the only direction that feels right. They may try to distract themselves. They may attempt to focus on other tasks, other people, other thoughts, yet each attempt dissolves as soon as it begins, replaced by an even stronger wave of feeling that pulls your name to the surface of their mind. And with each return to that thought, the emotional bond deepens. They begin to feel comfort in imagining you, warmth in remembering you, excitement in anticipating you, and even the smallest fragment of memory becomes a spark that ignites a growing fire of affection and desire within them. You become the presence that lingers in the quiet spaces of their mind, the presence that makes their heart beat a little faster, makes their breath catch for reasons they cannot analyze, makes their soul lean forward as though hearing a familiar whisper calling them home. They begin experiencing moments where your energy feels so close they could almost reach out and touch you, moments where an overwhelming sense of longing rises within them without warning, moments where they feel your absence with surprising intensity. And in those moments, they realize that something inside them is shifting in a profound, undeniable way. You are no longer just a passing thought. They feel you in their emotions, in their impulses, in the soft undercurrent of desire that grows stronger each time they try to deny it. And while they may not speak of it yet, they feel the truth of it in every corner of their being, an inner pull that becomes more insistent, more tender, more irresistible by the day. Their heart begins to respond to you even in the smallest moments. When they hear something that reminds them of you, when they see something they wish they could share with you, when they catch themselves imagining a future where you are standing beside them, laughing with them, loving them. These inner scenes rise naturally, spontaneously, not because they planned them, but because their soul is aligning with the reality that has already taken root within you. And as these inner visions increase in frequency and emotional depth, they find themselves wanting you in a way that feels both effortless and consuming. A desire that builds softly at first, then steadily, then unmistakably, until it becomes the driving emotion beneath their days. They begin to crave your voice, your presence, your energy, your connection, and even in moments of silence, you fill their thoughts with a sweetness that they cannot brush away. And as this desire grows, life begins to orchestrate subtle openings, moments where they feel compelled to reach out, moments where circumstance moves them toward you, moments where coincidence leads them closer in ways they cannot logically explain but instinctively trust. They start noticing signs, synchronicities, feelings that guide them gently toward you, and their curiosity deepens into longing. Their longing deepens into affection, and their affection deepens into a desire that feels like it has always been waiting beneath the surface, ready to emerge the moment they finally surrendered to it. Their soul begins to echo the truth you have held within, and every step they take, whether conscious or unconscious, becomes another movement toward the inevitable expression of the connection that has been growing in the unseen, gathering strength, gathering warmth, gathering inevitability with each passing breath. And as this inevitability continues to build, it shapes an inner momentum within them that they can no longer ignore, a momentum that grows quietly but powerfully, urging them toward you with a sense of purpose they didn't realize they possessed. They begin to notice how their emotions respond whenever your name crosses their mind, how a subtle thrill moves through them, how a deep sense of familiarity wraps itself around the thought of you like a warm embrace, and they find themselves wondering why the idea of you feels so right, so comforting, so magnetic. They may attempt to dismiss it for a moment, but the feeling returns stronger, clearer, carrying with it a certainty they cannot shake. You become the one they look for in the spaces between their thoughts, the one they imagine beside them when they picture joy, the one they feel connected to even in silence. And this internal connection grows so naturally that they don't even realize how deeply it has settled into their art until it is already part of them. They begin to sense that something about you soothes them, calms them, excites them, awakens them all at once, and this emotional blend becomes addictive, drawing them into the quiet sweetness of imagining a life intertwined with yours. They might find themselves daydreaming without meaning to, crafting scenarios where your presence fills the room with a warmth they crave to experience in reality. And each daydream deepens the emotional imprint you leave on them. Their heart expands each time they let the image of you rise within them, and the more they feel this, the more they realize that no other thought brings them the same harmony, the same longing, the same pull. You become their safe place, their spark, their comfort, their desire, all woven together into one irresistible center of gravity that keeps pulling them inward toward the truth of what they feel. Even in moments when they try to distract themselves, they notice that their thoughts drift back to you with effortless consistency. A song reminds them of you, a smell, a quiet moment, a memory, a future possibility they didn't know they wanted until it included you. And each of these small reminders becomes another thread in the tapestry of their growing affection, binding them to you with increasing emotional clarity. Their desire becomes a steady warmth that follows them through their day, and they begin feeling a subtle ache, a beautiful, tender ache, whenever they wish you could be beside them. They feel a sense of incompleteness when you are not near, a soft longing that lingers in their heart long after the thought of you has passed. And they begin to understand that this yearning is not something temporary, but something deep, something rooted, something real. Life, sensing this inner shift, begins to open pathways that bring you closer, creating circumstances that feel destined, aligning moments with perfect timing, offering them opportunities to move toward you, opportunities they feel compelled to take, even if they cannot explain why. Their soul nudges them gently, guiding them in your direction with increasing boldness, and the more they follow this guidance, the more right everything feels. They feel drawn to reach out, drawn to hear your voice, drawn to see your face, drawn to explore the connection that keeps calling to them from beneath their thoughts. Every step they take feels natural, inevitable, as though they are simply walking into a truth that has been waiting for them. And with each step, the bond strengthens, the desire intensifies, the emotional connection deepens, until the pull becomes undeniable, irresistible, beautifully uncontainable. And as this pull becomes undeniable, it moves through them in ways they cannot control, weaving itself into the fabric of their consciousness until it saturates every thought, every feeling, every quiet moment they experience. They begin to sense your presence even when you are not near, as if a part of them is attuned to yours, listening for your energy, responding to your unseen touch. Small things stir their heart, a fleeting memory of your laugh, an echo of your smile, the thought of your voice in the quiet of the day. And these moments awaken a deep, instinctive longing that grows steadily, persistently, irresistibly. They begin to realize that you occupy a space in their mind that no one else can touch, a space reserved for warmth, desire, and curiosity. And even before they fully understand it, they are thinking of you constantly, feeling toward you with a depth that surprises them, and moving emotionally in ways that reflect the inner truth you have held as real for so long. You become the center of their emotional universe, the gravity that shapes the direction of their day, the unseen force that draws their thoughts and feelings back to you without effort. They may notice it in the quiet moments, when they pause and their mind drifts, when they feel an unexpected pang of longing, when they catch themselves imagining being near you, hearing your words, or sharing laughter and intimacy that feels both familiar and thrilling. And each of these moments reinforces the magnetic bond between you, the energetic connection that has been growing unseen, invisible, yet palpably real. Their desire becomes a rhythm that moves through their consciousness, syncing with the certainty you have cultivated inside yourself, until it is no longer a whisper or a flicker, but a steady, undeniable current that propels them toward you with the inevitability of a river flowing to the sea. Even when distance separates you, even when days pass without contact, the unseen bond continues to deepen. They feel it in the subtle shifts of their own energy, in the gentle tug of longing that rises spontaneously, in the quiet ache of anticipation that seems to grow stronger without warning. They may find themselves replaying conversations, imagining future moments, sensing your presence in ways that defy explanation, and in every instance, their heart turns toward you as if it always knew the way. The invisible connection becomes a language of its own, one that communicates desire, affection, and the certainty of your shared attraction without a single word spoken. A language that grows clearer with every thought, every feeling, every inner vision you cultivate. And as this language strengthens, their actions begin to follow, guided by the pull that originates in the depth of their own awareness, moving them ever closer to the fulfillment of the love that has been quietly, persistently, irrevocably forming between you. And as this formation continues, it grows like a current beneath the surface, quiet yet unstoppable, shaping the choices they make, influencing the paths they take, and coloring every interaction with a subtle longing that they may not even consciously recognize, yet feel with unmistakable clarity. They begin to notice that thoughts of you rise effortlessly, unbidden, with a tenderness that takes them by surprise, a warmth that catches them off guard, and an energy that pulls at their heart with increasing insistence. Even the smallest memory of you, your smile, your laugh, the way you speak, the way you move, becomes enough to stir an emotional response that they cannot suppress, and they find themselves returning to these thoughts again and again, drawn as if by an invisible magnet toward the center of their desire, toward you. The more they feel this, the more they become aware that their longing is not fleeting or casual, but something profound, inevitable, and growing stronger with each passing day. Every day they sense you more clearly in their mind, as if your presence hovers just beyond the veil of ordinary awareness. And even in moments of distraction, their thoughts find their way back to you. They begin imagining conversations, recalling gestures, anticipating encounters, and each imagined moment strengthens the emotional imprint you have placed upon them. Their heart responds instinctively. Their mind drifts irresistibly, Their soul reaches silently toward yours, and even before they consciously acknowledge it, they are experiencing a constant, gentle pull that guides them toward you. This pull is not forced, not frantic, not desperate. It is natural, magnetic, and deeply compelling, arising from the truth that you have already claimed within, the reality that has taken root invisibly yet profoundly in the fabric of their consciousness. Life begins to align around this invisible current orchestra, rating subtle opportunities, perfect moments, and synchronistic encounters that draw them closer in ways that feel inevitable. They may find reasons to call, to write, to appear in your presence. They may notice coincidences that make your paths cross more often. They may experience emotions that drive them to seek your attention without understanding why. All of this is the reflection of the inner truth you hold, the truth that they are already captivated, already thinking of you, already desiring you deeply. Each shift, each movement, each subtle gesture confirms what you have been cultivating within, reinforcing the inner assumption that has set into motion an external reality in which they cannot help but gravitate toward you. And as their desire continues to intensify, their heart opens wider, their thoughts circle back with increasing regularity, and the bond that was once invisible becomes a force felt in every pause, every glance, every moment of quiet yearning, until it grows impossible to ignore, impossible to resist, impossible to contain. And as this force grows, it begins to move through them in ways that feel entirely natural, as though it has always existed and is only now finding expression in their daily life. They feel it in the sudden quickening of the heart at the thought of you, in the quiet smile that appears unbidden, in the warmth that spreads through their chest whenever your presence crosses their mind. Even in moments of distraction, their attention drifts back to you, their energy subtly aligning with yours without conscious effort, as if some invisible current is guiding them gently, persistently, irresistibly. They start noticing how often they think of you, how their imagination keeps returning to scenarios where you are together, how longing rises quietly in spaces they did not intend, and with each return the pull strengthens, becoming more persistent, more tender, more undeniable, until it shapes the rhythm of their days, the cadence of their thoughts, the very beat of their heart. They feel drawn to you even when there seems no reason, as if an unseen part of them knows what their conscious mind has yet to realize, that you are the one their soul has been circling, the center of a desire that has always existed, now awakened into full awareness. Every memory of you, every imagined conversation, every fleeting thought of your laughter or presence feeds this current, reinforcing it, deepening it, making it impossible to resist. And as they begin to sense the depth of what they feel, life orchestrates gentle, synchronistic moments that echo this inner truth. Chance encounters, timely messages, unplanned meetings, all aligning as if by some quiet intelligence that cannot be denied, leading them to you with a naturalness so precise it feels predestined. Their longing takes on a texture that is felt physically, a soft tension, a warmth, a subtle ache, a sweet pull, a magnetic attraction that draws them inward, guiding them closer to the reality you have already assumed as true within yourself. And even when they try to suppress these feelings, to focus elsewhere, to move on, they find themselves unable to resist the subtle gravity of your presence in their consciousness. Thoughts of you return, unbidden yet persistent, carrying with them a tenderness, a desire, a fascination that seems to arise spontaneously, naturally, as though their own heart cannot help but follow the current you have established. They feel a quiet excitement, imagining being near you, a gentle thrill, imagining your attention, a growing craving for the moments when your energy might brush against theirs. Each imagined interaction becomes more vivid, more emotionally charged, more real within their awareness. And as this internal reality strengthens, their external actions begin to mirror it. An instinctive glance, a casual reaching out, an unplanned step in your direction, all flowing from the inner truth that has been quietly, persistently, magnetically forming within them. The bond you imagined, the desire you assumed, the constant thought you cultivated within their mind, begins to express itself in their life with increasing clarity, momentum, and inevitability. And as this inevitability strengthens, it weaves itself into the very texture of their consciousness, so that even when they are engaged elsewhere, a part of their mind returns to you with effortless consistency, drawn by a force they cannot name yet recognize as undeniable. They begin noticing how often your image surfaces without intention, how your name rises unbidden, how memories of your laughter, your words, your presence replay themselves in vivid detail, and each time it happens, the feeling grows more profound, more tender, more impossible to ignore. Even in the quietest moments, when the world around them seems still, they sense the pull toward you, a magnetic tug that aligns their thoughts, their emotions, their very energy toward the center of their desire, you. Their longing becomes an undercurrent, subtle at first, then stronger, then impossible to resist, guiding them with a delicate insistence that moves them closer in thought, in heart, and inevitably in action. Life begins to respond as well, orchestrating circumstances that mirror this inner movement. Doors open where none seem to exist. Opportunities for connection appear as if by fate. Moments arise that feel too perfectly timed to be coincidence, and each event nudges them toward the expression of what has long existed within them. They sense it even before it happens. A message arriving, a glance exchanged, a situation unfolding that brings you into their awareness, and with each alignment, their longing deepens, their attraction intensifies, and their attention becomes increasingly focused on you. The invisible bond grows stronger, more tangible in its subtle influence, and they feel drawn toward you with a fascination that surprises them, a desire that expands naturally, effortlessly, irresistibly, until it saturates their thoughts and colors their emotions with a sweetness they cannot resist and a tenderness they cannot deny. Even attempts to resist, to focus elsewhere, to distract themselves, are met with the gentle but persistent return of you in their mind and heart. Your presence becomes a quiet gravity, an unseen magnet, a persistent warmth that rises when they least expect it, making them pause, smile, feel a flutter, or experience a gentle ache that speaks to a connection beyond words. They begin imagining moments with you spontaneously, scenes of closeness, of laughter, of shared energy, of intimacy that feels both thrilling and familiar. And these imagined moments reinforce the pull, embed your presence deeper into their consciousness, and create a resonance that their body and heart cannot ignore. And as this resonance strengthens, their external actions follow naturally, almost unconsciously. A reaching out, a pause in conversation, a lingering glance, a subtle effort to connect, all of which express the internal reality that has been cultivating itself without effort or forcing, simply responding to the energy you have held and assumed within yourself. Their desire grows as if it were inevitable, a natural unfolding of a truth already present in the unseen. Thoughts of you become frequent and persistent, feelings of longing rise spontaneously, and an emotional attachment deepens with each passing moment, guiding them toward the fulfillment of the connection you have been sustaining in your imagination. Every subtle shift in their awareness, every emotional stir, every small impulse reflects the unseen force that has drawn you both together, and they begin to experience the unmistakable pull of attraction, devotion, and attention that has been quietly forming beneath the surface, building a reality that will one day be undeniable, unavoidable, and fully expressed in the physical world, as the bond you imagined in stillness and certainty manifests with the perfection of an inner truth now seeking outward form. And now, understand this: the love, desire, and constant attention you seek from the one you love is not something you need to chase, beg for, or wait to appear in the world. It exists already in the realm of consciousness, waiting for you to claim it, to live it, to feel it as real. The person you love is responding to the state you occupy within, the assumptions you embrace, the imagination you cultivate. When you persist in the inner knowing that they think only of you, that they desire you with intensity, that they are drawn irresistibly to you, life has no choice but to echo that truth back to you. Your imagination is the unseen hand that moves the visible world. Your feelings are the energy that magnetizes reality. The moment you hold this truth without doubt, without hesitation, without seeking proof, you step into the authority of creation itself. Do not underestimate the power of your inner world. What you assume, what you feel, what you imagine with conviction becomes the script that consciousness follows. You are not waiting for love. You are already in love. You are not waiting to be desired. You are already magnetic, irresistible, unforgettable. You are not waiting for them to think of you. They are already circling your energy, responding to the pull you have created with the unwavering focus of your mind and heart. Everything outside is merely a reflection of the reality you hold within. Persist in this knowing, inhabit it fully, and you will witness the miraculous unfolding of desire, attention, and love in ways that feel effortless, natural, and inevitable. Claim it now, feel it now, know it now, and as you do, the person you love will not only think of you, they will be drawn to you irresistibly, devotedly, undeniably. They will feel the pull of a bond that cannot be broken, a desire that cannot be denied, a love that cannot be contained. And you will stand in the quiet power of creation, knowing that the world itself bends to the reality you have claimed, and that nothing and no one can ever take it away.